You had some friends over. It was so much fun, and now as guests are leaving, you ask some of your friends to help you clean. Your friends ask you where the broom is, and you tell them over there. She feels around, and you feel a tug on your head all of a sudden. Oh my gosh, Rachel, that's my hair, not the broom. I know I speak for everyone when I say that we've all been there, but fear not. Today, we'll be exploring the ultimate hair care glow up routine so that you too can have soft, silky, and beautiful hair so that your friends will stop mistaking it as a broomstick. Welcome to the Icar Glow Up. Today, we'll be going to do an extensive dive into our hair type so that we can better understand what we are working with before exploring products, treatments, and different hair care tips for the ultimate hair transformation for you. First things first, it's important to understand your hair type so that it's easier to find products and treatments that is right specific for you and your needs. Is your hair dry or oily? Did you know that our scalp is an extension of our skin? If we have dry and oily skin types, then it makes sense that our hair can be categorized by the natural oil production as well. Dry hair feels more rough, it looks more dull, and it tangles more easily. It lacks moisture and is more prone to frizz. And so the general care for dry hair is to use moisturizing products, deep conditioning, and avoid overwashing your hair. Oily hair, on the other hand, it tends to look more greasy, it feels heavier, and appears a lot more flat. This is all due to an overactive sebaceous glands that produce excess oil. And so the general care for oily hair is to use balancing shampoos, lightweight conditioners, and to wash more frequently. It's also possible to have a mix of both oily and dry hair, and I'm talking especially to my girlies who love their bangs, as your bangs, they do tend to get more oily a lot faster in comparison to the rest of your scalp. If it is easy to section your hair, I would wash those areas like your bangs that get oily a lot faster to wash it more frequently than the rest. And then the next section is understanding your hair textures, because that also plays a huge role in understanding the care that it needs as well. So straight hair is categorized as flat against the scalp and shiny, and it tends to get a lot oily faster. And so the general care is to use lightweight products and to avoid heavy styling creams. For girls with wavier hair, which is categorized by these loose bends and volumes, it's a bit more prone to frizz, and so the general care is to focus on hydrating products, light styling creams, and to avoid heavy gels. For my girlies with curly hair, which is defined with ringlets, it's more prone to frizz and dryness, and so the general care is to include moisturizing curl creams, avoid heat, and deep condition regularly. And last but not least, coily hair, which is tightly coiled or zigzags curls. Those are a lot more prone to dryness, and so the general care is to use heavier creams and oils, deep conditioning, and also because of the volume of your curls, it's important to note that you should be gentle when it comes to detangling your hair. Understanding our hair porosity is also so important when it comes to understanding our hair types, and it refers to our hair's ability to absorb and retain moisture. For hair types with low porosity, the hair cuticles are tightly closed, which makes it harder for moisture and products to penetrate, but it also retains moisture a lot better once it is absorbed. Hair with low porosity is naturally resistant to damage, but can feel a little dry if moisture isn't properly introduced, and so you may require a little bit of heat to help products penetrate the hair. Lightweight and water-based products are also preferred for people who have low porosity hair. For those who have normal hair porosity, the hair absorbs products well and retains moisture pretty well as well without getting too dry or too oily, and so you're in that perfect balance. You can use most products, but of course retaining moisture is key. Now for those who have high porosity hair, the hair cuticles are raised or even damaged to some levels, which makes it easier for moisture to enter, which can be a great thing, but that also means that it's a lot easier for that moisture to escape just as quickly as well. It may feel brittle or over processed, as it is common in chemically treated or heat damaged hair, and so it will require extra care to seal in moisture and repair the hair structure. And so heavy creams, oils, treatments, treatments will be your best friend in helping you seal in that moisture. Also, avoid overwashing your hair is going to be very helpful. To find out what your hair porosity is, there is a simple water cup test that you can do to find out, where you take a strand of clean hair and drop it into a glass of water. If it sinks quickly, you have high porosity hair. If it floats, you have low porosity hair. And if it floats somewhere in the middle, you likely have normal porosity hair. Understanding your hair type through its hair porosity, whether you have a dry or oily scalp or whether you have straight, wavy, coily, or curly hair, can really build that foundation in helping you understand the type of hair that you have, and therefore the type of care and the type of products and the type of treatments that it may need. I have a few hair products and treatment recommendations tailored to your hair type, but I have been on a Japanese hair care craze, and so I apologize in advance that the product recommendations will therefore be specific to the ones that I've used, but at least I can personally vouch for them. For shampoo and conditioners, if you have higher porosity hair like me, I love the Tsubaki shampoo and conditioner that comes in the red packaging. If you have lower porosity hair, the gold version may be better for you. The And Honey Deep Moisture, the one that comes in the original yellow packaging, is great for dry and high porosity hair, and this is especially true during the winter season when the heater is on, because my scalp gets so dry and flaky like a croissant, and so this shampoo is like a life savior for me. I've also recently started using the Shiseido Fino hair mask, and I swear by it. It leaves the hair so soft, detangled, and it smells divine. It worked wonders for me for my higher porosity hair, but for my girlies with lower porosity hair, I heard that the Tsubaki hair mask, the one that comes in the gold packaging version, may be better for you. Now that we have an understanding of our hair type and some product recommendations that you may or may not want, let's dive into some general hair care routines, because what you do on a daily consistent basis is going to matter the most. So let's talk wash frequency. For dry hair, less frequent hair washing is key. Washing too often can strip your hair of its natural oils, which leaves it more prone to dryness and damage. Aim to wash 2 to 3 times per week, or roughly every 3 days. For oily hair, you might need to wash your hair a little bit more frequently, perhaps 4 to 5 times a week, or something like every other day. Washing it every day may be a bit much because it can strip the scalp and maybe even trigger oil glands to overcompensate, leading to even more oil production. For curly and coily hair, these hair types tend to be a little bit more dry, and so washing it 1 to 2 times a week is often enough. Making sure that you don't overwash your hair can help retain these natural oils that are good for you and prevent the curls from becoming frizzy and dehydrated. But for my girlies with straight or wavy hair, these hair types may need a little bit more wash, so something like every 2 to 3 days depending on oil production. Wavy hair can be a little bit more flexible depending on how thick or fine the hair is. When it comes to washing your hair, make sure to wet your hair thoroughly first. So always start with a complete rinse to remove dirt and oils before applying any products like shampoo. And when you are shampooing, start at the roots and the scalp, because these areas are where oil builds up the most. You can gently massage the scalp to make sure that the products penetrate the hair, and I would really recommend just using your fingertips and not your nails to avoid irritation, and this is especially true for the girlies with the long, sharp, claw-like nails. And when it comes to conditioning, apply the conditioner from the mid-lengths to the ends, and if you have oily hair, avoid applying conditioner to the roots. After you have washed all the shampoo and conditioner out of your hair, a final rinse with cool water can really help seal the hair cuticles, making your hair look shinier and smoother. I started doing this, and honestly just after a week, I have noticed how shinier and smoother my hair had already looked. I just do a quick rinse in cold water in the sink after I finish washing my hair in the shower. And now that everything is washed and everything is rinsed, how we treat our hair is just as important as how we maintain its health. Let's talk about the after wash routine, because how we treat our hair is just as important as how we maintain it, right? You can't just gently wash your hair, gently condition and massage it just to play tug of war with it after, right? So make sure to avoid vigorous towel drying, like rubbing your hair with a towel, because that can lead to frizz and breakage. Instead, gently pat your hair with a towel control, and using softer material like a microfiber towel or even just like a cotton shirt is a lot more gentler on the strands. When it comes to drying your hair, I personally feel like air drying is always more gentler, more natural. But of course, going outside with wet hair when it's windy and chilly and letting your hair freeze up like an icicle obviously is not ideal, so use common sense on this one. If you're short on time, or I come from a household where I need to dry my hair before bed because otherwise we believe it will cause headaches and it makes you sick, and so if you need to blow dry and use heat, you can use a heat protectant. When blow drying, always direct the airflow down the hair shaft to minimize the frizz, and also you can try to opt for a lower heat setting because I promise drying your hair on a more gentler setting that may take a few extra minutes is so much better than damaging your hair in the long run just to save 5 minutes. When it comes to combing and detangling your hair, wet hair is a lot more fragile, so detangle very carefully, especially if you just came out of the shower. Start at the ends and work your way up to avoid unnecessary breakage. And for everyday combing, consider opting for a wooden or even bamboo comb instead of a plastic one. These materials, they can absorb the hair's natural oils and distribute it throughout your hair as you're combing. You can also consider the following lifestyle practices that you can incorporate into your day-to-day routine. The first one being using a silk pillowcase and or head wraps. When we sleep, our hair rubs on our pillow, which can cause friction leading to frizz, breakage, and even split ends. And so if you know that you're someone who moves a ton in your sleep, using a silk pillowcase or a head wrap can really help you minimize this damage. Another thing to consider is going to sleep in braids. Braiding your hair before bed is a simple way to prevent tangling, reduce breakage, and honestly, even wake up with natural waves, which I love. This is something that I've been doing a lot more regularly just to keep my hair out of my face when I go to sleep. And honestly, I love it a lot more in comparison to a bun because, at least for me, and maybe this will apply to you as well, I need to keep this bun tight in order for it to hold itself in place, but it literally gives me such a headache after I wear it for too long. And so braids, although slightly more work, is a lot more gentler and gets the job done. And speaking of tight hairstyles, try to avoid those really tight hairstyles too frequently because the constant pulling of your hair can really weaken the hair shaft, leading to breakage, especially around the temples and hairlines. I know that slick back ponytail looks clean and all, but some of us really cannot afford a receding hairline. That is a price that I will forever am not willing to pay. The next thing is to avoid excessive heat. This means wearing a hat on those especially hot, sunny summer days, or try to avoid excessive heat styles that can cause irreversible damage, leaving it dry, brittle, fizzy, and just prone to breakage. For curls, using the sock trend or using those heatless rods are a great alternative. You look crazy going to bed at night, but this keeps your beautiful hair from looking like straws. And so if you really do need to use a heat styler, moderation is key, and using heat protectants and using lower heat settings are all great ways to reduce that damage. And last but not least, hair coloring. I am guilty as charged for this one as well, but these hair color treatments can really be damaging to the hair, especially when harsh chemicals like bleach is involved, and it does require a lot of care to offset that damage, but this extra care and these extra products can get really expensive as well. So if that is a price that you're willing to pay, go off, bestie. And the last topic that I want to touch on is just dietary choices. Similar to skincare, where there is no secret miracle product to fix a poor diet and lifestyle, the same goes for hair care. If a poor diet and lifestyle can damage our hair, then the opposite must be true as well. A better and more intentional diet and lifestyle can really promote healthy, luscious, beautiful hair from the inside out. Healthy fats like omega-3s and omega-6s are essential for maintaining strong, healthy, and shining hair. These fats provide the building blocks for scalp hydration, reduces inflammation, and supports hair growth. They also prevent dryness and breakage. Some sources include avocados, nuts and seeds, olive oil, and fatty fish like salmon, salmon, mackerel, sardines, and trout. Biotin is a B vitamin that is often marketed as the holy grail for hair growth, so I'm sure most of us have heard about this already. Although it doesn't directly boost hair growth for everyone, it does play a role in creating healthy hair follicles and ensuring the hair we already have is strong. Biotin supports the production of keratin, the protein that makes up our hair to prevent thinning, which some of us really need. Include eggs, sweet potatoes, button mushrooms, and legumes like beans and lentils in your meals, or snacks like almonds and bananas to get your biotin fix. The next item on the list is vitamin C, which is essential for collagen production, which supports hair structure and elasticity. It also helps protect the hair from damage caused by environmental stressors like UV rays and pollution. It also helps the body absorb iron, which is important for the hair health because it delivers the oxygen that it needs. Adding citrus fruits, papaya, strawberries, kiwis, tomatoes into your diet can really help load up on your vitamin C naturally. Speaking of iron, it's critical for hair growth because it helps transport oxygen to the hair follicles. A lack of iron can lead to hair thinning or even hair loss, so it's important to ensure that you're getting enough of it. Some sources include spinach, tofu, pumpkin seeds, chickpeas, red meat, or other lean poultry. Just like any diets and routines, it takes time for that progress to show, and so be patient with your hair glow up journey. We're working on a lasting transformation, and so be patient and be sure to stay consistent. This was an extensive episode, and so I hope that it was at least a little bit helpful. I'm thinking of creating some sort of summary for you guys to reference back to as needed, so let me know if that's something that you'd be interested in. But otherwise, I hope that this episode was able to help you better understand your hair type so that we can better treat it and pamper it. Thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you in the next one, and in the meantime, as always, stay hot. Bye.